This is my 1986 Toyota pickup extended cab long bed four-wheel drive. So I am a big Toyota guy, so I have this truck. It was my first. Originally it was a two-wheel drive. Now it's, well, actually technically it still is. I don't have a rear drive shaft for it, so it's front-wheel drive. But I have that. It's a 1985 Tercel wagon and a 2010 Tacoma. But this was the one that started it all. Well, technically I had an 87 before that, but it was my mom's name and brought it out, so I got rid of it. But this is my truck. So it's kind of hard to say everything I've done to it because I've done so much stuff to this in its life, but in its current state, the only real parts that are left of the original 86 is the back half of the frame and the battery tray and the VIN number. Everything else in this truck has been swapped. This cab is from 1985. The extended cab short bed truck was also a two-wheel drive. It had a rotted frame and a bad engine. However, it only had like 127,000 miles on it. I think it was 129, around 130. So, and it was parked 20 years ago. So this is the interior. The dash only has a couple cracks on it. And the interior is in phenomenal shape. This is an original seat. The one thing that bothers me is when they laid a bunch of paperwork on the seat, it unevenly faded the fabric pattern here because it sat with paperwork laying right here on the passenger seat for 2 decades. Now, I gotta get a shifter surround for this because it was originally a two-wheel drive. So it has this shifter, it's further forward, and that one, it didn't have a transfer case shifter. So yeah, this interior, it's all the two-wheel drive stuff, apart from this gauge cluster, it's from an 84 four-wheel drive. The cruise control stuff is from Donor 4Runner. I don't have any of the factory cruise control stuff under the hood. However, this is all tied into an aftermarket system, so it does have cruise control. But all the dash switches are factory. The truck this came from also did not originally have intermittent wipers or a clock or air conditioning. AC on this is an aftermarket system that I put together myself. It is a brand new R134A system, so it's good AC. And if anybody knows anything about these trucks, I can tell you this is not factory. It has a stand-in compressor, a new condenser in the front, but it works. Now the engine is also not the original from the truck. This is from a 1988 four-wheel drive, the truck that donated the suspension and actually part of the frame. It was in real good shape. I bought it as a running truck with a bad frame, and there is like no sludge in here. It's super clean inside. I popped the valve cover off, saw no sludge, and immediately put it back on. It has a minor manifold leak, which pretty much all 22Rs do. If you find one that doesn't, it's a miracle. But yeah, the engine was in fantastic shape, so I pretty much just slid in here. I went through the fuel system because the fuel tank was full of rust, and it pumped a bunch of rust into the injectors and plugged them. So I did a tune up, and I got new spark plug wires and spark plugs. That's all I've really done to it. I had to put a radiator in it because I had one good one that I accidentally put a hole in. So yeah, this thing is definitely still a work in progress. You can drive it, but I wouldn't really advise it because it has a really bad driveline vibration from the front above like 35. For quite a while it didn't have rear brakes, so there's a rear disc brake kit, and this rear axle is actually out of a literal rock crawler, so it has this like huge truss welded on the back, which is way overkill for this, but it's fine. Now this bed came off an 86 two-wheel drive, regular cab. It was in Missouri. This bed is immaculate. The only rust it has is this, which is nothing for an 80s Toyota. Eventually this will rot out, which is sad, but these beds are never this nice in Michigan. They usually have fist-sized rust holes in them. This one is perfect. This tailgate's not even the original of this bed either. It has, the bed's not perfect. This dent was in it when I got it. This truck will see off-road use, so I'm not too concerned about it being pristine. These tires are going to go. I believe I'm going to put a set of 35s on it. I have a 4-inch lift from a friend that I need to find time to pick up. And then I can install that on there, because right now the rear end is lifted, this is stock, and these tires are completely shot. They're about 20 years old, so we need to go. I need to redo I'm going to get a different set of fenders on it because these don't fit very well and they already have rust in them. And I need to redo the paint work on the doors, but this color is actually the same as the Tacoma. So these two will be the same color of gray when I'm done with it. This is the wrong battery, and this jankiness is going to go away. And believe it or not, this is a factory ground. This is from this cab. It literally just is a body ground. So, yeah. Not sure who thought that was a good idea at Toyota, but it was. This is for the rear disc kit. Put a proportioning valve in it. Got a good new master cylinder, so this thing now stops real well because it has rear discs instead of drums. Well, I guess we can start this thing up. Oh, and part of the nice perks here, getting a nice original truck, is these door panels are in great shape. Seats in fantastic shape. This shelf back here, you almost never see them. They're pretty much always gone. The plastics here in the back, I actually painted these because they were really badly faded. But turns out the Rust-Oleum semi-gloss, I can't remember the color, but it was some like dark brown or whatever. It was like a really good match to the original dark brown because it matched the top of the door panel. So that was the factory color, and as you can see, it's actually a really close match. Yeah, this steering column surround came off of the two-wheel drive truck. It also had aftermarket cruise in it, which is why there's a hole in it because it's where the switch went. But, you know, I'm kind of having a little challenge here with all my vintage Toyota keys. But put it in here. Still has typical 80s Toyota buzzer, which just kind of shrieks like that. This one's a fuel injected one, so you just turn the key and it starts. This thing's a real good runner. I have the AC on right now. Yeah, AC on this thing works great. Currently I have a leaky O-ring on the dryer, so I'll probably put a new dryer and pressure switch on it. But it blows ice cold air. This thing runs great, has good power, it has a full new fuel system though, so that's expected. I added a clock to this truck because originally this cab did not have one. And I did manage to find a factory radio, which has a working cassette deck. So, yes, this actually does play cassettes. And finding a factory Toyota cassette deck that works is like impossible. So this was a real hard find. And yep, all my vintage stuff that have cassette decks. I do have a cassette collection. Most of them are in this car though, because this one's actually road legal. So, you know, got plenty of room there for them. Go ahead and turn that off. Yes, nice good cold air. Not that you can tell because it's a video, but yeah, this is my 1986 Toyota pickup. Oh, another thing I should mention, the 85 two-wheel drive had its visor on it. So when I bought it specifically for the cab. I was like, why in the fuck does this thing have random strategically placed holes in the roof? I opened the back because it had a topper on it, and the engine was sitting in there sideways. The guy said it didn't have an engine. I'm like, oh, there it is. And I saw this that was thrown in the back, so it's got painted and put on here because there's no way in hell I'm not putting a visor on it, especially when there's already holes in the roof. So, yeah, it's a cool vintage visor on it. Anyways, hope someone found this interesting. Because, you know, I put a lot of work into this truck, lots of man hours, and more money than anyone should ever sink into one of these, but, you know, I like it, and that's all that really matters. I love my Toyotas. I got quite the collection. Not bad considering I'm only 20. Well, thank you for watching.